Oh, don't you dare ask me if I'm ready to go live. If I click the button that says go live, you better fucking believe that I am ready to go live, which is what we are. And let me take a look at these notes while you take a look at the big 38G size titties that are on the screen this evening. And of course, when you see those big fat titties, it is a reminder to you to click the like button, the share button, the follow button, the subscribe button, ring the bell, do all of those things, and to tell your friends about the Savage Sack Tap. Our social media pages, of course, facebook.com/The Savage Crew, Twitter at Mike Montone, Instagram at Gary_Moyler, Moyler, YouTube, Mike Montone. You can, it's right now the avatar, I believe, is me smoking a cigar. And then, of course, the podcast, The Savage Sack Tap, is available all over the goddamn place, wherever you can find podcasts. Spotify, The Savage Sack Tap, iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Casts, Spreaker, fucking everywhere. And again, if there is a pocket podcatcher that you use where the Savage Sack Tap is not available, you let old Uncle Mikey know, and I will add the RSS feed to that. For the moment, though, just enjoy the big heaving bosoms that are on screen right now. Of course, we start and end every show with a huge set of tits on screen for your viewing pleasure. It's a little incentive for you to watch the video version of this and to tell your friends all about it. I'm assuming you have friends who like big tits, right? Those are good people. You could always tell how good a person is by how much they appreciate a massive heaving set of tits. So tell your good people friends about the big ass titties that we have here at the Savage Sack Tap. And now I will what do you say we get into the show a little bit, right? I could talk about how great big tits are all night, but then we'd be doing an entirely different program. So onward and upwards, as they say, as you catch one final glimpse of the big tits. They'll be back later, don't you worry, folks. There we go. Okay, now we are ready to do a little pod-o-castin'. And we would like to remind New York City's angel dust-using schizophrenics to please stop attacking old Asian ladies. We would also like to remind you to listen to a fresh episode of the Savage Sack Tap, which starts right now.
You're listening to the Savage Sack Tap. It's not a podcast, it's not a half-cast, it's just a quick shot to the balls to help you finish off the week. We're cutting through the bullshit, filling your Friday with rage-fueled logic, and cracking a few jokes along the way. So grab a bag of frozen peas. There's a Savage Sack Tap coming your way.
Smooth, lascivious, salacious, outrageous.
And yes, I am Mike Montone. This is the Savage Sack Tap, and you can see I am up here in my home in Jersey City. Not a Jersey Shore weekend this week. I might go down Monday for a day, but I know you've been seeing me the past few weeks from Long Beach Island. I am not down there this week, but of course broadcasting nonetheless. We'll probably be back down next Friday night. Another Shore edition. We do have to start this episode because we did a story on the show a couple weeks ago about the guy from Megadeth. I believe he's the bassist. Let me check the notes here. Yes, well, the former bassist, ex-Megadeth bassist Dave Ellefson admits to masturbating encounters with woman in new police report. And you remember we did the story about Dave Ellefson being kicked out of Megadeth because he had been accused of some sort of sexual impropriety. Well, more has come out about that, and it leans in Dave's favor. And it says that he admitted to 4 or 5 masturbating encounters online with a young woman, and I guess he filed revenge porn charges against someone that he says illegally uploaded one of said masturbation videos, and that's what got the ball rolling with the allegations against him. But I guess Rolling Stone got their hands on a police report, and it says Ellefson admitted he had been exchanging sexual text messages with a Dutch teenager who captured a video of one of their encounters without his consent and shared them with friends. And it was at that point, I guess, that the screenshots and the video got online with people saying that the teenager happened to be underage, and that, of course, led to his dismissal from Megadeth. But the new development is that police say the chick was 19, so that's fine. You can jack off online with a 19-year-old. And now Ellefson is he's filing revenge porn charges because, yeah, you should be able to whack off. You should be able to, if you're mutually consensually whacking off online with someone, you should, of course, be able to do so without fear that video of your encounter will be shared with other people. So I guess he met this chick after a gig, and this was I guess this was last year. The report said July or August, and they started to masturbate in front of each other via Facebook Messenger. I wonder if Zucks had that in mind when he made Facebook. He was like, yeah, people are going to be whacking off. They had 4 or 5 masturbating encounters, and I guess even the chick, it says, was remorseful, and she agreed to send out a social media statement on her Instagram account that these were all adult and consenting encounters. So, first of all, good for Dave Ellefson, exonerated. There is nothing wrong with jacking off online with a hot 19-year-old European chick, right? Think of all the, every time you've gone to a strip club, it's a bachelor party or whatever, a good chunk of those chicks are only like 19 or whatever. Like, they're paying for fucking community college, or they're not going to school and they need some cash to support their coke habit. Few among us have not seen a 19-year-old chick in the bear. And if some nymphomaniac Dutch barely legal piece of ass wants to rub her clit for you via Facebook Messenger, who are you to not jack off? You know what I mean? So I don't want to hear people. I don't know much about this Dave Ellefson. There might be other shit wrong with him. It seems they didn't want him in the band, but on at least on that charge, he's exonerated in my book. It sucks though. Once you're branded a pedo, it's very hard to escape that. Like, you're a pedo for life. Not in reality, of course, but in the eyes of sort of the public, people will always say the pedo thing first, and then someone will kind of have to remind them that you were cleared of being a pedo. It's very weird how that works. Because you would think that that's a huge turn. Like, you hear someone's a pedo and you're like, holy shit, and then it comes out that they're exonerated. You would think that's a big deal, but I feel like the follow-up never gets quite as much attention, so that's part of the reason I'm trying to shed some light on it here, is that we covered this story on the show a couple weeks ago, and we were sort of having some fun at Mr. Ellefson's expense, but since he has been exonerated, I wanted to air that. He's not a pedo. He's a webcam masturbator. Webcam masturbating is not a crime. I know a few guys who are webcam masturbators. A former roommate of mine is a reputed webcam masturbator. He was once caught in a sting. Well, not like a sting, but more of a scam, where this chick talked him into some webcam masturbation, and then she screenshotted it, and she made a Facebook account, and she basically held him hostage with the pictures and videos of him masturbating, and demanded thousands of dollars. And when he said no, he wasn't going to pay, she made a Facebook profile and sent the pictures to all of his friends. So I was actually at work one day, and I go on Facebook, and I get a friend request from someone who looks like my buddy, because it was his face and his name. So I'm like, oh, I guess maybe he's got a new account. Whatever. It was, he was always doing stuff with photography and social media, and the word cam, as in camera, was in the the profile name. So of course, I accepted it, and all of a sudden, scrolling across my screen was a video of my buddy whacking off. So webcam masturbators, what I'm saying, are out there, and I have another friend who something similar happened to. There are guys out there amongst your social circle. If you're spending this summer weekend, this post-COVID white boy summer weekend, hanging out with friends you haven't seen in a while, it's a good chance that at least one of those friends spent part of lockdown jacking off via maybe Zoom or Facebook Messenger, as Mr. Ellefson did. There are webcam masturbators among us. Father's Day. Father's Day celebrations coming up around the country. How many suburban dads probably spent time during lockdown locked away in their bathroom, pleasuring themselves to OnlyFans videos by women who are about 19 years old, right? Across the country, scores. I mean, every hot, barely legal piece of ass in this country is on OnlyFans. And the life, I know you guys all pretend on like Facebook and Instagram that you're not a whiskey away, a whiskey and a financial setback away from walking into each member of your family's bedrooms late one night and murdering them execution style before setting the house on fire and putting the gun in your own mouth and blowing your fucking brains out. You miserable suburban fucks. I know you're all at that level, and I know that the only thing that kept you sane and prevented you from doing that during lockdown was the fact that you knew that you were going to take about an hour a day to go in the bathroom and stroke yourself and edge yourself for a while by watching a fucking OnlyFans or a cam soda of some chick who was in her first year at a local community college. So let's not judge Mr. Ellefson for jacking off to a private show with some freaky Dutch chick, right? We can all imagine doing as such. You really do have to, like I mentioned before, Zuckerberg not realizing that Facebook Messenger was going to be used for mutual masturbation across the oceans. You have to wonder if the inventor of the camera and whoever invented like the internet cable or whatever got the internet going knew how big a role their inventions would play in masturbating. Like, more than anything, I think those inventions have impacted masturbating. Like, they're up there with, I would say they are up there with the Hitachi wand and the rabbit or the jackrabbit, whatever they call it. Those two very well-known dildos. Like, it's Doc Johnson and it's whoever invented the camera and the internet are responsible for the bulk of masturbation to have taken place inside of the last, 100 years or so. So, I mean, and cheers to them. We are, I believe, a happier people with digital content to ejaculate to. And if you can find someone to do it with you, more power to you. So good for Mr. Ellefson. I wish him well in his future endeavors here. Moving on. We can't spend our time talking about we can't spend the entire evening talking about masturbating bassists. And speaking, however, of masturbating, bukkake, sideways vaginas, they have been putting up these Stop Asian Hate billboards all over New York City. And I do have one here, so let me go ahead and share this bad boy. Chrome tab. There she is. Share. Okay. That looks nice. You see what I'm talking about? Let me make sure it looks nice and crisp. Yeah, I love the this. You can't use a funny sign when you're trying to get people to stop beating the shit out of Asians, by the way. It says, the shape of my eyes doesn't validate your hate crimes. You really should have left the whole eye thing out of it. If anything, that's going to fuel the crimes. But with that in mind, I was looking at one. I was walking through Times Square on my way home from work the other day, and I think it said like fight, like attack the virus, not Asians or something along those lines. It was like a bench ad telling people not to attack Asians, and I was like, what? Who is the sign for? Right? The people who are attacking Asians, like, you read the article and it's, oh, he was arrested 8 times in the past year. He has a history of PCP use. I think one of them, like, murdered his own mother. And they're like, they think a fucking sign on a bench or on a garbage can is gonna stop this guy from doing it. He's been doing PCP all morning. He's staggering around Times Square in soiled clothing, shouting obscenities at people. He's on the prowl for an Asian to punch. Do you think he's gonna see the sign and he's gonna stop and he's gonna straighten up and kind of dust himself off and just be like, you know what? I have realized the error of my ways. I must get my act together, become a productive member of the community, and when I get my first paycheck, egg rolls for everyone, on me. And I'm leaving a huge tip, even if they forget the duck sauce. Like, what, is that the logic behind the fucking billboards? That the guy who has been doing mind-altering drugs all night and sleeping on... He's like the fucking... You know who's a prime suspect in one of these? Is probably the guy who sleeps on the corner of 43rd Street and 8th Avenue in the middle of the day. He likes to sleep in. I usually walk by him around 12:30, 12:45, and he'll be all balled up in his sleeping bag, I guess sleeping off a night of crack cocaine or whatever the fuck else they're doing out there. Those are the guys who are assaulting, like, the Asian people. Like, that's where it's coming from. They're not getting the message that they need to stop Asian hate. What? Who the fuck thinks this is what's gonna do it? I love how the assumption behind these ads is that the people beating the shit out of Asians in New York City are like tourist families from the Midwest, and they're stepping out of the American Eagle in Times Square, and like they look around, like they got the fanny packs on, and they got a Packers hat on. He's like, hey, what do you say we beat up one of those Asians? I've been hearing on the news that's what real New Yorkers do. When we get back to Sheboygan, we can tell Grandpa we finally got revenge for what happened to his buddies out there in Da Nang. Like, it's the fucking Griswold family going to fucking town on a fucking Chinese guy. I don't know who thinks this shit through. Like the Somali, I don't know if if you haven't been to New York, some of this might be lost on you, but there are these like Somali guys, like these African guys who hawk tour bus tickets on the fucking streets. Like, hey, mister, you want to beat up Asian? Bus ride, come downtown, beat the shit out of Chinaman. And like they take you to what do they take you to fucking Chinatown in Queens, and you can mug and beat the shit out of a 65-year-old Asian woman, and then afterwards there's a complimentary ticket to a show to see Shane Gillis open for Tony Hinchcliffe. It's a lot of fun. And I don't mean to dismiss the trauma, by the way, that the AAPI community is going through, because it is kind of fucked up that, you know, they keep getting jacked, but I don't know if they're actually like the ones taking the brunt of it, or if that's just getting covered in the news, because all of New York City is just a massive violent shithole right now. An 11-year-old was shot to death at a family barbecue well, he was 10. He was going to turn 11 a few days later. He was gunned down at a family barbecue out in Queens. You got people getting stabbed in the face on the train. They're getting shoved in front of the fucking subway. So I don't know if it's the fact that there are legitimately a lot of Asians in New York City, and there are also a lot of vagrants who are using mind-altering drugs, and I wonder if it's just pure happenstance that the two will cross paths frequently enough that has nothing to do with a rise in like Asian hate. It's literally just we got all these whack jobs running around on chemicals, and they're roaming the streets. And where there are a lot of Asian people in New York City, so a lot of Asian people are getting jacked by these drug-addled whack jobs. But yeah, I don't know. I really think that maybe instead of lecturing normal people, well-adjusted people who aren't out committing violent crimes, instead of lecturing us about Asian hate, maybe just do something about the vagrants, right? So you can go on the subway without worrying about someone pushing you in front of a train before your subway gets there, and then you can not worry about having someone swipe a razor blade across your face while going from point A to point B. I feel like that would be probably also beneficial to the Asian community. It's just a suggestion. But the city really is, and if you've been following every week, you might be getting annoyed that I spend so much time talking about the shithole that is de Blasio's New York in his lame duck period here. It was more like lame dick. Limp dick, more like it. I fucking hate that. He's just such a fucking jerk off. But the city they're now having unsanctioned boxing matches in Washington Square Park. So we will be the point is, we're going to continue following this. I have to think through the end of the year, at least. And I'm sure there'll be some entertaining moments in the mayoral election. But yeah, they're having fucking boxing in Washington Square Park. So I want to see if I have the video here. Let me see if I can play this for you. Just a momento. Make sure I share the audio. And there. Share. Okay. Fucking... Okay, so this isn't a fight that broke out. They have gloves. They came to do with the intention of having a boxing match in Washington Square Park. Under the arches. Look at the arches glowing in the background. And I love this guy. There's some dude, I don't know if he's supposed to be the referee. He does look kind of like Herb Dean. But he's got these fucking dreads, and he's just kind of dancing around the ring while these guys box each other. What the fuck do you do, though? Not for nothing. It would totally suck to be doing that and take a header onto the cobblestone there. That's no joke. I was doing a video bit in Washington Square Park last Halloween, and I had the guy I was working with, I had him tackle me for the shot, and I went down on the pavement there. It's not like you get a face shot during one of these unsanctioned boxing matches, and you go down. Woo, doggy, your medulla's gonna be on the fucking pavement. I will, if anyone was worried, though, I will tell you, and This is good news. The spokeswoman for the city parks department said that no permits were issued for the fights. So at least no, this was unapproved, all right? There was nothing they could do about it. They didn't know it was going to happen. But the agency did not immediately clarify whether boxing matches could be permitted in parks at all. Like, I would love it if the fucking cops showed up to break this thing up and that guy with the dreadlocks just pulled out a stack of paperwork to prove that the fight was legit. Like, as you can see, officer, we obtained the necessary variance from the city council to hold the brawl here tonight. Like, Don King walks out. What a way to spend the evening. I'm actually planning on heading out to, if the weather is decent tomorrow night, I'm going to go out to Washington Square Park to see what's going on, because I've been hearing that people have been clashing with the cops and shit's been getting nuts. So I figure a Saturday night, maybe there'll be some boxing. I'm sure there're going to be people doing some drugs. Who knows what we'll see. I'm looking quite forward to it. There was fuck. I wish I had it. I'll pull it up next week. There was another video of an encounter out there. It is New York City is just a fucking zoo. And I love how all of these New York assholes are like, it's back, baby. The city is back. And it's like, people have returned to the city. Yes. Like, it is the city, the things you could go do in the city. Broadway's coming back. Sports are coming back. But also, there are just people are just showing up in Washington Square Park now to have fucking fist fights. Like, Asians can't safely walk down the street, and if that wasn't enough face punching, go to Washington Square Park with a fucking pair of gloves, and you can maybe get your skull split open on the pavement. Like, I don't know if I would go so far as to say New York City is back, but New York City has certainly morphed into something interesting. I'm going to be fascinated to see the sort of progression that New York City goes through over the next 6 months to a year. I feel like we're definitely due for a terrorist attack, by the way. Haven't had one of those in a while. But moving on, enough New York City. I know you people are probably sick of me running my mouth about the city so nice they named it twice. We have not done one of these in quite some time. We're going to check in with our friend Ask Amy. We got a good one here. Now, usually, when we do these, it involves some sort of sexual picadillo. Sorry. Like we've done, I believe we've done on like polyamory, and there was one where some guy's wife wanted to eat her friend's pussy, and she wanted him to join, and he wouldn't do it, and we had a good laugh at his expense. Sorry, I got the the window open, and I believe it is still allergy season here, so my throat getting a mite dry, but the show must go on, as they say. Here we go. A bit of a shift in topic. Dear Amy, about 2 years ago, my husband started using the N-word. We are white. He mainly used this word when watching something that upsets him or when he would drink. You get the picture. He is now upset because some of the family and I say that using the N-word makes him look racist. He says it's just a word and it's okay because he used it all the time when he lived in California with his black friends, and that they all just said it no matter what race they were referring to. We argue about this, and he defends his past behavior no matter my opinion. He has mostly stopped using the word after I made a huge issue about it. Occasionally he will say it when he is mad about a certain person on the news or a politician, and it's loud enough that our daughter can hear. Your opinion? Well, I have a feeling this guy wasn't too happy about the verdict in the George Floyd case. And I know he is wrong for using that word in such a cavalier manner, and with what I assume is probably a fair bit of vitriol. But it is also objectively hilarious that this guy thinks he's totally justified in shouting the N-word at the TV because he used to hang out with a couple of black guys. Like, can you imagine going to your friend's house after school and his dad's watching TV in the other room and you just hear a slew of N-bombs because of something that Don Lemon said? Like, it would be terrible and bigoted, but you would also be rolling on the floor laughing. And especially in, like, the cell phone era, you would record that and you would be playing that in the hallway for your friends at school the next day. Like, you'd be like, yo, here's Gary's dad shouting the N-word at the TV again. Like, boy, he sounds like fucking Michael Richards. Holy shit. And because the best part about it is because this guy is convinced that it's okay for him to use the N-word, so you know he's going to look for opportunities to use it so that he can make his point about how it's totally okay for him to use the N-word. So it's just going to come up at horrible, horrible times. Like, you're going to be out to dinner with your boss and some coworkers. Maybe you're stopping by your parents' house on Easter Sunday. I don't know, maybe you went to a jazz club with your neighbors, the Johnsons. And he just starts hurling it around. I would think the best way to get him to stop is to take him to a basketball game and do it when there's like a huge discrepancy between the skill levels of both teams, so that the underdog is like a heavy underdog, but convince him to put a bet on the heavy underdog, and when the favorite wins and he doesn't beat the spread, he's going to launch a slew of N-bombs as he blames those people for the loss of his money. And inevitably, someone at the game will hear him using those N-bombs and beat the shit out of him. Maybe Michael Rappaport will be there, and he'll do it. But he will beat the shit out of him for using the N-word, and he will beat him so savagely that he will never use that word again. That is how I would do it. If I were worried about a loved one excessively and proudly using the N-word, I would address it in such a manner. What next? This is we are on to our last and final topic here. I'm sorry. I'm having this is a fun episode. I'm enjoying this. Yeah, Richard Branson has joined the space race. He is out, as TMZ reports, out to prove he's the billionaire king of space travel. He is working with his team to beat Jeff Bezos. So Bezos and his brother are planning to go on the Blue Origin Aerospace, an 11-minute trip on July 20th. But I guess Bezos, what are they saying? What's his name? Who's Richard Branson? I'm sorry, I'm a little retarded. I was hitting the vape pen earlier. I'm in a very giddy, giggly mood because we've been talking about masturbating and inappropriate use of ethnic slurs and all sorts of fun stuff today. So I'm a little giggly and off my game, but I guess Richard Branson is planning to launch one over the July 4th weekend, which is awesome. I mean, let the rockets red glare. Is Richard Branson British though? Is he trying to steal our thunder a little bit? Or I don't know. If you are British and you launch a rocket on July 4th weekend, does that make you like a traitor, right? Because we Americans set off fireworks for July 4th. If you are British, which I have no idea if Richard Branson actually is, I should look that up because I'm making an ass out of myself not knowing. 1 second. Richard Branson. He is English. How about that? A fucking Englishman So I don't know if he's doing this trying to be like cocky, like fuck you, I'm gonna beat the American to space, I'm gonna do it on July 4th. But does he realize that he's putting a huge rocket in the air on July 4th is also like he's putting on a 4th of July display for us? So he's basically like the biggest traitor to the fucking crown since what was his name? You know what I'm talking about. Nathan Hale? He did it for the Americans, right? I don't fucking remember. I'm way too high to remember what side that motherfucker was on. The point is, that vape shit hits hard. I took too many puffs in too short a time. Super fucking concentrated. The point is, we got a fucking space race going on. But I guess Branson may not be able to do it because he needs to get permission from the FAA. He needs to get a commercial reusable spacecraft operator's license from the FAA. But I feel like if you're just a guy and you have the money and resources to put yourself into outer space, can't you just tell the FAA to suck your dick? Like, what are they going to do? Fine you? Like, you would be... If you told the FAA to suck your dick and then you went to outer space, you would be the people's champion. Like, these cocksuckers have been making people turn off their cell phones during takeoff and landing for years. And we all hate it. We fucking hate it. You gotta listen to some smug... They don't even have hot flight attendants for the most part anymore. It's just some fucking ugly chick or a fucking bi-curious twink telling you to take your fucking headphones off and turn off your device. They're not turning off the fucking butt plug, the Bluetooth butt plug that's up their fucking ass. That's for sure. So yeah, if Richard Branson just told the FAA to suck his dick and that he was putting on the ultimate 4th of July display as a show of deference to the United States for kicking England's ass in the Revolutionary War, people would fucking love it. So on that note, I say do it. Of course, Buzz Killington herself, Elizabeth Warren, was not interested in any of this. She said Bezos' planned trip to space is a slap in the face to taxpayers who she claims are basically funding the trip because Bezos doesn't pay his fair share in taxes. Just what a fucking buzz kill. Liz Warren. Boo! Oh my god. Oh, she must have sucked to go to high school with. Can you imagine her? I always equate Liz Warren to the fucking chick in my history class who told on, like, the entire class cheated on a fucking test and she fucking told on everybody. And I got off unscathed because I got like I think I got a C+, and they only checked on people who got a B- or higher. So even in doing poorly on the test, there's a C+ in an AP class is a decent grade. I got a somewhat decent grade on a test that I would have otherwise failed, right? I'll take a C+ over an F any day. And by just a couple of points, missed out on being exposed as one of the co-conspirators. So the point is, fuck Liz Warren for trying to fuck up this awesome 4th of July display. What a fucking schoolmarm coming in to spoil the fun. One giant leap for the super rich. What do you do, though? If you're a billionaire, there's nothing else... There are very few things you can do as a billionaire to keep yourself entertained. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you can go the Jeff Epstein, Bill Gates pervert route. Obviously, you know, Gates was at least fucking legal pussy. Epstein, you know, that is one way to do it, right? You look at these guys and you're like. I feel like if you have that kind of money, you can afford experiences where you will almost like an Epstein is inevitable because you will have gotten so sick of just fucking women. You're going to be looking for new things, new species, right? What's the most fuckable plant? You're going to be going on expeditions to the Amazon looking for fucking remote tribal members who have never been fucked by a Westerner before. It'll be the same thing as like trophy hunting, with those people who go big game hunting. It'll be if you can go and bang a chick from one of these uncontacted tribes in the Amazon. It'll be like the ultimate. Because you'll be like, someone will be like, oh, Wilt Chamberlain banged thousands of women in his life. You can, imagine how many different ethnicities probably fucked, he probably fucked an Asian chick, a Hispanic chick, a white chick, and a black chick all in the same day. And if you're one of these billionaires, you'd be like, yeah, that's cool. By the way, I've done that as well because I'm a billionaire. And what I've also done is I've fucked people from tribes, from remote tribes that fucking Wilt Chamberlain, whatever his fucking name is that I can't pronounce right now, has never even heard of. I've been to Papua New Guinea. I fucked a great grandmother, a grandmother, a mother, and a daughter on her 18th birthday. I deflowered her as the other members of her matriarchal line aided in the process. We had an orgy. Wilt Chamberlain never did that. Like, you could do that as a billionaire. You do the Warren Buffett thing where, like, what's he live on? Like the McDonald's dollar menu, and he just keeps making money. He just loves seeing the index fund go up. Was he one of the guys? I remember I saw The Big Short, but I didn't totally understand what was going on. Did he give them a couple shekels, or did he tell them to fuck off? I don't really remember. Point is, you could do that. You could just be one of those Rockefeller motherfuckers who just has shitloads of money, and you kind of, you fund things maybe. They name some sweet buildings after you. I think if I was a billionaire, I would definitely, because you have to kind of decide how you want to style yourself too. Like if you want to be like a Bezos billionaire, or if you want to be like, I would like to be like a Rockefeller, like with the mutton choppy facial hair and a lot of black and white paintings or photographs or what have you around my stately manor. Who else? Oh yeah, of course. Then you have, you got Bezos, you got Musk, you got Branson. Those guys are kind of, they're in the space race. They're dabbling in world domination. You could do that. Bob Kraft. I don't know if Bob Kraft is a billionaire, if he's in this category, but he's sort of a man of leisure, right? He owns a sports team. He likes to vacation in fucking what was it Jupiter Beach, Florida? Just hanging out in coastal Florida near where the Mets have spring training, getting jacked off by Asian chicks in a strip mall. That's certainly a way to go about it. That's definitely one that would be very appealing to me. I don't know what else you do, right? You could hunt human beings. It is a consideration. While you might, like I said, want to go into the rainforest and make love to human to people of varying genders from varying tribes who have never been penetrated by a Western cock before. You may also want to hunt people, right? You might use some of your billions to buy an island and to put a mansion on that island. And when a plane flies down, you'll send a jet fighter, contracted. You'll find a mercenary to fly a fighter jet up and force the plane to land on your island, and you'll escort all of the people off, and you'll welcome them to a banquet in your lavish mansion, and after they've stuffed themselves and drank the night away, and you've dismantled their airplane altogether, you'll announce to them that a great game is being undertaken, one in which they are important participants, and they will be released to run amongst the island. Well, you give them, say, a 24-hour head start, and you and your friends will drink cognacs and smoke cigars and plan the next day's hunt, and then you'll go about the island hunting man, the most dangerous game and you'll bring back your trophies, however many of them you kill, and you'll mount their heads on the wall above the fireplace with so many other of the species that you've successfully hunted in the past, right? The lion, the hippopotamus, the rhino, the giraffe, the grizzly bear, the anaconda, the great white shark, all of these dangerous in their own way, but nothing as dangerous, as cunning, as elusive, as willing to fight to remain alive as the prey that is known as man, top of the food chain for a reason, because of his cunning and his ingenuity. So you'll hunt him all over the island, and if they can survive it's a sporting amount of time, say 72 hours, you'll hold a party in their honor, and you'll bring in some of those uncontacted tribal people who you've had your way with, and you will turn them over to your new friends. All who survived the great hunt will be your new friends, and they will be invited to engage in sexual liaison with tribal members brought in from Brazil and Papua New Guinea and elsewhere around the world, parts of Australia, I'm sure, and in the dark heart of Africa. And on future subsequent hunts, they'll be invited back to hunt alongside of you. Wouldn't that be fun? That might be the way that I went about it if I was a billionaire. It's food for thought. And speaking of becoming a billionaire, which is something I would like to do, I think that you find people can help me become a billionaire, and the way that you can do that is to get this follower count of mine up, to get the views up, so I can attract, say, advertisers, or put some content behind a paywall and get people to say, hey, we like this shit enough that we're willing to fork over some of our hard-earned cashish to enjoy it. And what incentive could you want more than a massive set of tits adorning the screen, beckoning you to like, follow, subscribe, and share the Savage Sack Tap and our content across all media platforms, be it Facebook.com/The Savage Crew, where you can watch this live stream unfold every Friday night at 8 p.m. The YouTube channel, where the live stream goes as well. YouTube, Mike Montone. Be sure to subscribe and get those numbers up for us. Twitter at Mike Montone. Instagram at Gary_Moiler. And if you're enjoying this content, shoot me a message at any of those platforms. I would absolutely love to hear from you. I have people message me all the time. They say, hey, Mike, saw the show, fucking hated it, never going to watch again, but I did love the big titties, so keep it up with that at least. Everyone loves tits. But yeah, check it out. And the podcast, of course, the Savage Sack Tap, is available all over the goddamn internet and in every app. iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Pocket Casts, Podbean, Spreaker. You get the fucking picture. So you have no excuse to miss it. I see a comment coming in as I begin to wrap things up. Roland Perez Jr. saying hello. Roland Perez, thank you for joining us on the Savage Sack Tap this week, and I hope the breasts on screen are to your liking. Massive, heaving bosoms. Those are a size 38G, I believe. Yes, high indeed, Roland, and I will be consuming more this evening. But thank you all for joining me tonight on the Savage Sack Tap. I hope you guys had a great time. And again, don't forget to like it, share it, tell your friends. We start and end every stream with big ass titties on the screen. That's incentive enough to check it out. I'll catch you guys next week. Have a great weekend. Until then, adios and adieu to whatever the fuck, however the rest of that goes. Bye-bye.